Hi, this is Ken McCarthy, and we're starting something new on the first day of the new year, January 1st, 2022. I did not advertise it, but I'm going to advertise it now. I'm going to be reading the System Club letters, one chapter at a time. That's 57 chapters, 57 days, plus the introduction, plus reviews from people who were kind enough to comment on the book. 2022 is the 20th anniversary of the System Seminar. I know, it's hard to believe. And just to give you a little historical perspective, I started practicing and also teaching online marketing in 1993. And I started the System Seminar 9 years later, so I had 9 years of experience under my belt when I started that seminar. And there were very, very few people who knew what I knew about online marketing. You can really count them on the fingers of one hand. The great Corey Rudel, Jonathan Mizell, and a handful of others, and that's it. And most of the people who knew what they were doing didn't really want to teach it because they had a private, personal, secret gold mine. But I had the attitude that this stuff was just too good not to share. What did we share in that first seminar? The opt-in box. Yeah, people weren't teaching about opt-in boxes in 2022. We were sharing the sequential autoresponder. In other words, you sign up once and you get an endless stream of automatic emails distributed over time. Nobody was teaching that in 2002. We taught A/B split testing. Test this headline against this headline. Nobody was teaching that in 2002. In fact, the author of the 4-Hour Work Week got his title from our method. We were the first to point out that pay-per-click was the ideal way to A/B split test headlines, offers, prices, bullet points, and other such things. We were also among the very first to say, yes, you can use long copy. Now remember, there was no audio to speak of, and there was definitely no video. So the only game in town was text, and we said, yes, absolutely, go ahead and use long copy. We were the first. And in that year, 2002, we introduced the push-button audio file. The very first time any human beings on Earth were able to play audio on the internet without having to already download an audio player. We were the first. So in effect, we started podcasting as well as all the other things we started. And that was just the first year. Basically everything that people do in internet marketing today started with the System Seminar. And you can trace every single guru, either directly, I mean now it's 20 years, so we've got generation after generation after generation, but you can trace them all back, even if it's 3 or 4 steps back to the System Seminar. So what's the System Club? Well, the System Club are the graduates of the System Seminar that decided to stick around. Now understand this, I did my last System Seminar in 2011. I still have a very healthy membership of System Club members. Now we've opened the System Club to anybody. So if you're a serious internet marketer and you want to be with other serious internet marketers, the System Club is a way to do that. But anyway, let me start with the beginning of the book, not yet chapter 1 and not even the introduction. I'm going to read I don't know what you call this part of a book, but the title is What People Say About Ken McCarthy. All right, this comes from Ed Niehaus, and Ed Niehaus was the PR agency of record for Yahoo from 1995 to 2000. He was literally the 4th hire at Yahoo. Here's what he has to say. I've been privileged to know Ken McCarthy since 1996. I am a fan of his thinking and writing and find him to be a great sounding board for ideas. I can always count on Ken to look at a problem from all angles. The overused phrase, out-of-the-box thinking, really does describe how Ken's mind seems to work. So he's hard to beat if creativity is what you want. Again, that's Ed Niehaus, President and CEO of Niehaus Ryan Wong, which was the PR agency of record for Yahoo from 1995 to 2000. I didn't mention this, but I should have. He was also the guy that Steve Jobs called when he wanted to take back Apple. and Ed was the first person that Steve hired to handle his PR for that operation. All right, next person. This is Rick Boyce, the guy that's credited with inventing the banner ad. Here's what he says. Hotwire has been credited with popularizing many of today's commonly accepted web advertising practices, banner ads and click-through rates, for example. I credit Ken McCarthy with introducing me to the whole notion that the web could be a viable place for advertising. I attended a talk of his in the early summer of 1994 where he not only predicted the evolution of the web with uncanny accuracy, but he also put the web in a larger historical context in a most unique and fascinating way. That's Rick Boyce, the inventor of the banner ad. And here's Gary Bensavenga, one of the greatest copywriters of all time. If you want to know how to make money in direct marketing through the internet, there's one name you must inscribe on your Rolodex, Ken McCarthy. Ken and his cohorts know how to extract direct marketing profits from the internet the way a mining company knows how to pull gold from the earth. They live by the same credo as all smart direct marketers. That is, that advertising is salesmanship multiplied, and it's not creative unless it rings the cash register. Gary Bensavenga. And according to the 2000 issue of Target Marketing, Gary Bensavenga is the world's highest paid direct mail copywriter. Way back in the 1980s, he was already getting $25,000 per letter plus commission. And he wrote one letter that generated so many commissions for him, he eventually cashed $5 million in commission checks. All right, next person. This is Rosemary Sino. She was one of the original executives at Netscape, which was the company that actually commercialized the web. And here's what Roseanne had to say. Netscape has had several opportunities to work with Ken McCarthy, including having Marc Andreessen as a keynote speaker at one of the first conferences focused on the web as a viable business tool. We have enjoyed our relationship with Ken thoroughly. That's pretty good corporate speak, don't you think? All right, this is Dan Kennedy, and Dan needs no introduction, I think. As people who know me well can tell you, I'm not easy on vendors, and I don't recommend experts, service providers, or speakers lightly. Many are cold, few make the cut, fewer still are invited back again and again. I've been so impressed with Ken's mastery of marketing that I've included examples of his ad writing in my books and courses. His involvement in the internet business dates back to 1993. And he has consistently given his clients, including me and dozens of my clients who I've recommended to him, straight, no-nonsense advice in a field that is overrun with hype and false promises. I know there is a lot of interest in e-marketing. I have bought materials from, talked, and met with and checked out over 30 different internet marketing gurus over the past year or so and have had very lucrative offers made to me to endorse or partner with them. I'm sticking with Ken. If you are interested in e-marketing straight talk, he's the guy you want to talk to. My highest recommendation. That's Dan Kennedy. And if you don't know who Dan Kennedy is, you are missing the most important piece of the direct marketing puzzle. Okay, this is Hal Josephson, who was one of the pioneers of multimedia. I connected with Ken when he was in the process of organizing a conference with Marc Andreessen on what at the time seemed a rather far-out idea, commercial publishing on the World Wide Web. As far as I know, it was the first conference ever devoted exclusively to this topic, and it was certainly the first one offered to the Bay Area's cutting-edge digerati community. In a region with more new media visionaries than any other place on earth, Ken has been one of the very first to grasp and articulate the significance that the World Wide Web would have on all of us. And again, that's Hal Josephson, president of MediaSense, former executive director of ICS, the International Interactive Communications Society. Here's from an academic guy, Ronald Gross, author of many books on education and the chair of the University Seminar on Innovation at Columbia University. I've known Ken McCarthy since 1985, when he was offering some very insightful and inspiring courses on educational psychology in New York City. In fact, I was so impressed by his work that I cited him along with Buckminster Fuller, Alvin Toffler, and others as a source for my book Peak Learning, published by Tarcher in 1991. I therefore wasn't at all surprised that Ken became involved in the internet in 1993 and dedicated himself to making it comprehensible for innovative educators and small business people. I recently had the opportunity to avail myself of his consulting services regarding my website. As I said to him in a follow-up email, "Hail, Master." I can't remember the last time I received such a flood of immediately useful, on-target advice from any consultant in any field. If you have an opportunity to work with him, don't hesitate. Again, that's Ronald Gross, chairman of the University Seminar on Innovation at Columbia University. Here's Ben Settle. Now, he wrote this when he was just a young lad. Ken's System Club Letters book is the most thought-provoking and inspirational marketing book I've ever read. I can see why people pay $1,000 per year to access this kind of information. I told my entire list about your book and urged them all to read it too. In fact, I think the chapters about jazz, your father, and Independence Day should almost be required reading for everyone in business. That's Ben Settle. Of bensettle.com, but you wrote that a long time ago. A lot has changed for Ben in a positive direction. Okay, from Perry Marshall, the author of the best-selling book on internet marketing ever, The Ultimate Guide to Google AdWords. My point of view on Ken McCarthy: 1, strong knack as a talent scout, repeated demonstrated ability to locate specialists and gifted people who truly know their trade and are ready for the stage. This is a rare gift. 2, militant about quality. You don't put up with mediocrity in your seminars, products you sell, or anything that affects your reputation. There's a lot of old-fashioned values and goodness in what you require of yourself and the people you endorse, a consistently higher standard than others are willing to tolerate. 3, hound dog for history. If I want a historical perspective on something, I can always count on you to give me an angle that I hadn't heard before. A sharp eye for repeating patterns and underlying causes. Also a gift for stating those things clearly and succinctly. A wide lens of books and information sources that most people would never bother with. 4, clear discrimination of the difference between fads and trends. A dislike of fads, but willingness to use them to your advantage. A love of seeing trends before they're apparent to others, and like the talent scout thing, a knack for it. Very likely to be able to single out what's going to be a lasting phenomenon as opposed to yesterday's news. 5, you're one of the best copywriters on the net. You're actually probably my #1 influence in terms of how to do specifically email. Been reading your emails for 10 years, I think. And again, this is written a long time ago. I believe we're at 6. Stability and consistency. You're steadfast in places where steadfastness is often undervalued, creates loyalty and a sense of security in those you serve. Perry Marshall. So that's what people had to say about me. And next time, which will be tomorrow, we're going to get into the introduction, and then we're going to get into the System Club Letters book, 1 chapter at a time, 1 chapter a day for 57 days. We're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the System Seminar, and if you can't wait to have the System Club Letters book in your hands, I think I can help you with that. There's a link on this page. It's pretty obvious. You can click on it and get the book. Or you can just sit back and let me read it to you. Either way.